Hey there, I'm Ashley with Caravan of Art Guides, and today I'm going to be working on playing with some paint to make some fun backgrounds for my art journal. And I invite you to join me in playing and exploring and experimenting and making a mess with some paint. Before we get started, let me just show you my art journal. This is my art journal that I use. I am a big art journaler. I use my art journal every day to document my life, express emotions, and it's a wonderful outlet, a creative outlet. It's a way to practice creativity every day, and I encourage you to join me in this. It has brought so much peace and joy just to play and explore what I can create. This is my art journal, and it's made up of 4x6 ish papers, watercolor, mixed media, scrapbook papers. I've got some sketches in here, some mixed media stuff that I've done, playing with some watercolors, all kinds of different things that I like to do to practice creativity every day. This journal is bound with these book rings that you can get from your office supply store. If you're interested in learning how to make your own journal in this style, check out our Skillshare class that gives instructions on how you can make your own journal. But today we're going to focus on playing with paint and making some fun backgrounds. So this is my art journal. I also have this book right here that's full of just different backgrounds that are ready to go whenever I find an inspirational quote or a song is stuck in my head. I have these backgrounds ready to go. So that's what we're going to work on today. We're going to work on making a bunch of backgrounds with some paint so that whenever you are ready to work on your art journal, your backgrounds will already be ready to go. So what you're going to need is some paper. So you can use watercolor or mixed media paper and cut it down to the size of your choice. Mine, like I said, are 4x6-ish. The watercolor paper or the mixed media paper really takes the paint really well. But you can use index cards. I've got some index cards that we'll try. You can use book pages. We'll probably play with some book pages. This is from a really cool old book. I really like these images. I may not use this particular page, but book pages are a great way that you can add some interest to your journal. And I've got some fun scrapbook pages that I chose because of their texture, so we can play and see how does paint react to this texture. They're not the exact size, but that's okay. The book page is not the exact size, but that's okay. We're going to paint and play, and then we can crop it down. We can cut off the edges of it, save the part that we love, and have some backgrounds ready to go. Here's a few that I've already done. I was playing with blues and grays. I scratched into it, I scraped it away, I dabbed it on with a paint spatula. So this is where we're headed. So grab you some paper. You're also you've got a supply list below, so I'm not going to go over all the supplies that you need. But start with some papers and your vine charcoal. We're going to make a lot of these so that you'll have plenty of pages ready to go whenever you sit down to journal. It also takes off the pressure, so you can just stretch, take a deep breath, and play. Just have fun. So this is not about creating a masterpiece. This is not about creating something that you want to hang on your wall necessarily. You might, but that's not the goal. The goal is just to play and have fun. So we're going to start by thinking about each card, each page of this journal, and putting an intention or an inspiration into it. So this can be a song or a quote. It could be one word. It could be something that you want more of in your life, like patience or joy or peace. So take a moment and just brainstorm up some words Maybe there's a song in your head right now. Maybe there's a quote that you've recently read that has really stuck out to you. And use your Vine charcoal to write this on your paper. So, we're using Vine charcoal. It's really soft. It breaks pretty easily, and it has a great texture. So I'm just going to start with the word peace for this one. And you're going to write your word really big. It does not have to be in cursive, but I like to write it in cursive and add extra loops and some extra swirls down here. Like that. What about, I've been thinking about the word home lately. During this time of sheltering in place, I have been at home. I have not gone to my usual job. I have not gone out to coffee shops like I normally do, but I have been home, and I've been thinking about what that means a lot lately. So I'm going to write that one down. And let's see, let's use, here's a couple on watercolor paper. Let me grab an index card. I'm going to stretch across really quick so that we can see how, I don't know if you can tell, but it's brighter than the watercolor paper. I think hope is an important word right now because there's so much fear, so much worry, so much stress, so much disappointment, so much worry. For so many of us, this sickness and this virus is really hitting close to home. So I think hope is a good word for us to focus on today. And let me grab a book page. I'm not going to use the one with the bird on it because it was just so cute. I want to save the bird for something else. But let's see. Here's some more that I have. That one's got another bird on it. I love working with old books. I love, this one was really old, an antique book that I have destroyed and I'm putting back together again to make something new with. But, let's see. I'm going to write the word sing on this one because this is about birds. And birds sing happily, they chirp. I love going outside early in the morning to take my dog Oliver out, and it's still dark outside. You can still see the stars. And there's this little bird that sits outside, and he just sings his little heart out. He's so happy. So I'm going to put sing on that one. Even though I'm not going to sing, I'm going to write the word sing. Okay, so now I've got a couple of these with my Vine charcoal on here. These are my inspiration for each one of these pages. And, oh, I did not do a scrapbook page. Let me do one of these. Let's see, what's another good word for us right now? I think kindness is good because we are, it's so easy in the panic to, I'm just going to write kind. Because kindness is long. Actually, I'm going to write ness on this line. See, you don't have to be able to read it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be readable. It doesn't have to be spelled right either. So, let me get my palette over here. Next, we're going to take these intentions and set it into each page. So, you can use Modpodge or regular glue. I'm going to try it with some glue because Modpodge and glue are very similar. It's going to give a similar effect. My glue is clogged up. But when you use glue, it's really gluey and goopy, so you'll have to water it down just a little bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't even tell you what we're going to do with the glue. You're probably wondering what in the world I'm talking about. So we have these intentions, these words, these inspirations for our journal pages. We are the only ones who are going to know that they're there. We're going to paint on top of it. We're going to cover it up. But it's just a way of reflection and putting this inspiration into your work, putting your heart into what you're doing. So we have used our vine charcoal. It is really light and smears. See how that smears? We don't want it to smear in with our paint, so we're going to set it in just like if you were setting your intention to do something. You're setting your inspiration into your work. I'm adding some water to my glue so it's not quite so gluey and goopy. And mixing it up a little bit. And I'm just going to trace over the top of each one of these. Like this. And as I'm doing that, I'm just letting my brush trace over those letters, and it doesn't have to be coated solid. You can do it kind of thick. It's going to add layers and textures to our work as we paint on top of it. But I'm just, as I'm tracing over the letters, I'm just thinking about the word peace. What would that look like if I had more peace in my life? How would that affect other people? How can I pray for peace for myself, for the world? How can I do things? What things can I do to bring peace to myself and others? So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to go through and set in the intention for all of these pages that I've started, and I will be right back. Hello, and I'm back. I have set in my intentions for these pages right here. The next thing that we're going to do is take a piece of pastels, or you could use a colored pencil or a marker of a different color, just some sort of tool of a different color. And then also I hit all of these with a hairdryer for a few seconds to help the glue dry. It's still a little bit wet, but it'll be alright. So the next thing that you do is, let's see, let's get this out of my glue. Okay, so I've got my pastel. Next, what we're going to do is scribble on top of it. But turn your page, you can turn it however you want, upside down maybe, sideways, angled, however you'd like to change it up a little bit. And my picture's not there. That's okay. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. You can't see me, but that'll be alright. That'll be alright. You can see what I'm working on. That's what's important right now. I'm figuring out how to make my own videos, and this is a work in progress. Okay, so back to the pastel. Colored pencil, you could use a crayon or a marker, any tool that you would like of a different color than what you have down, and you're going to scribble. So you can make big scribbles like that, or you could make little tight scribbles and then make them bigger. This is a great way to vent your frustrations. I'm gonna try, no, that says too close. Let's see. I'm gonna grab a colored pencil to show you how that will work with a colored pencil. I'm gonna use, what color? Let's do purple. Got a purple colored pencil, and it's gonna do big loops on it, like that. I'm gonna try the pastel on this one. This paper has a really neat texture. It's really soft and it absorbed the glue, and I really like how this looks. It turned out pretty cool. So let me turn it and just scribble on top of it. Like I said, this is a great way to vent your frustrations. Think about how it feels. How does the pastel feel as it moves across the paper? How is that different than the paintbrush and the glue? How is that different than the vine charcoal? Just notice these things and enjoy these things as we go through this process. So now that we have this done, we have our pages ready to play with some paint. So let's start with this one right here, and I've got some just plain old craft paint. This is kind of old, and this time I'm gonna squirt it out. Ooh, a lot came out right on my paper. And then I have an old credit card that I'm gonna use to swipe it across. And I really like this book page, so I'm going to try to do it so you can see some of the words through. Ta-da! And you can kind of see the word through it still too. That's really nice. And while I have the same color blue, I'm just going to splat it on there like that. And this time, let's play with a paint spatula. You can rub it across, you can swirl it around, and let's add another color to it. Let's add some pink. It's really fun. You can cover up your whole page, or you can leave some of the marks showing through to give some more texture and variety to your page. Look how the pink and the blue are mixing together. Kind of makes a purpley kind of color. I'm just kind of scratching it in, and then I'm going to wipe a little bit off, and then kind of gloss across the top of it. That makes it smooth. Play with the different kind of marks that you can make with your tool. And scratch into it a little bit, like that. Down here. Yeah, that's fun. Alright, see, this goes really fast. You just play. The more of these that you have prepped, you can just get into it and go and go and go, and it's such a peaceful, relaxing thing that you can do to get your pages ready. Let's see, what color should we use with this? Let's try this green. If you have, I don't know, 20 or so of these ready to go, that's my ideal, to have a ton ready to go. I'm using a fork to spread it out. Why not, right? As you're working, notice the scratching sound that that's making. That's kind of weird, right? Let's scratch some stripes into it. Let's add some white to this one and see what happens. This paper is sort of absorbing. Oh, that's a lot of white. I'm going to play with, this is some netting from some produce, some oranges or apples, I believe. Apples or oranges. And just stick it in there and create, sort of stamp with it. Mix in with the green a little bit. It's all about playing. I like how that looks, and I like letting some of the paper show through. That looks nice. We'll set that aside to dry. As you're going, your mind might wander a little bit, you know. You might think about the things that you have to do today. Things you're worried about might come up. I encourage you to grab a scrap piece of paper and jot those things down as they come to your mind, and as they come to your mind, just jot them down and mentally mark them as noted. Noted. You could write things that you're worried about, things that you're mad about, things that you're happy about, and those will be great inspiration for whenever you go back to add your words. This is a roll from some ribbon, I believe, or some tape, and I'm using it to just kind of smear my paint around like that, and kind of add some circles. What did you hear that? My stomach just rumbled. That's embarrassing. So, as you're going, write those things down and then come back to your list later and you'll find inspiration for what to journal about. It's a great way to do a brain dump, to just let your brain relax, and as things come to mind, just write them down, mark them as noted, and just like a leaf floating down a river, just let it float on by. Get lost in your painting. Let your mind find a peaceful place. I'm taking some of the paint off of this card and putting it onto this page. I really like this blue with that blue. That looks really cool together. So I've got some circles. What other textures can we play with? Got one more card ready to go. Let's play with this. This is a piece of cardboard that rips the paper off of, so it's got these corrugated stripes. So I'm gonna do one gray. I was gonna do some yellow. I have a plate that I could use as a palette if I wanted to, but I'm really enjoying just squirting the paint right onto my card. The good thing about these pages is they're not really big, so it's not like a big blank canvas. You can fill it up quickly, and there's not too much pressure. Okay, I'm gonna try some of this yellow. It looks not that yellow. That yellow is bloopy. Let's try this one. Plop. I've been plopping the paint right in the center, but you don't have to do that. Oh yeah, this is fun. This is a silk flower that I took apart, and what happens whenever we use this as a paintbrush? Ooh, that gives some interesting texture. Kind of dab it on or smear it around. Then I'm going to stamp this on there and see what happens. Got some stripes going on a little bit. What happens if I kind of press down and swipe it? Ooh. And my paint is not so thick that I can't see these lines underneath. Sometimes my paint is so thick that I can't see what I wrote on the card, and that's okay too. If you want to, you could always, before you add your paint, write the word on the back so that you'll remember what it is. If you're doing tons of these at a time, it may be easy to forget which card was which. I'm calling them cards, but they're really pages. They're pages for your journal. So these are the fun pages that we have done so far. I really like the texture of this one that we got with the netting stuff, and then the texture of this paper is really fun. This one I did the paint kind of thin so that we can see the words, and it's talking about a blue jay and red-winged blackbird, different birds. That's really fun. And this is the one we just scratched into and played with our palette knife to kind of gloss over the top of it. So there's just a few right here. Once you get going, it's hard to stop, and I wish that I had more ready to go. So I suggest that you go through, get your papers, do your intentions onto your papers, let the glue dry, and then do your scribbles and get messy with the paint. I have paint on my hands and it feels so good. It's where I need to be right now, and I hope that you can enjoy this and enjoy that same feeling. I hope that you will create some journal pages, and you can check out the Skillshare class that we have on how to make your own journal. You can check out an upcoming class on what to do next. How do you finish your pages? Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you later.